snowy scene in Colorado Springs, Colorado at the United States Air Force Academy. We're ready for a hot Mountain West matchup. It's back to house night at Clune Arena, and that means the cadets will be out in full force as Air Force welcomes in Boise State and the Broncos. Big game for the Broncos because they're tied for first in the Mountain West Conference. Wyoming losing on the road at New Mexico, and now both teams sit at 10-2. With a win tonight, Boise State would regain the lead. We welcome you inside Clune Arena. Good evening, everyone. Jenny Kavnar, Doug Gottlieb with you. And this should be a fun one because Boise State has a lot to play for. And normally we're talking about the mix-up and the mash-up in the Mountain West right now as we head towards March. Well, both these teams have 5 games left for Air Force, 6 games left for Boise State.
Yeah, Air Force is in the middle of a really, really tough stretch when you're playing the top teams in the league. They got San Diego State upcoming. They got Wyoming upcoming. This is a young club where Joe Scott, their head coach, is trying to rebuild to the place that he left it last time he was head coach at the academy. But for Boise, can't lose this game.
Yeah.
You just can't. And this was a close game last time these two teams matched up in Boise. It was a 3-point game at the half. They ended up winning by 6. Boise shot 32 free throws, only made 19. I believe we're going to have a heck of a game at Clune Arena.
Air Force has had Boise State's number here at Clune Arena the last 2 times they've matched up. A big reason, A.J. Walker. You talk about the youth of Air Force. This is their senior leader and their points leader, averaging 15.5 a game.
And when Joe Scott got the job 2 years ago, he put his name in the portal. He thought about transferring to a place like TCU, a Big 12 level squad, but he came back and he reinvested in the program. And A.J. Walker has been a tremendous, tremendous leader in this new regime.
All right, it's the veterans that Boise State has. But how about the freshmen? He has come onto the scene, been in the starting lineup, and Tyson Dagenhart has also been a Mountain West Freshman of the Week, not once, not twice, 7 times, 4 in a row. Rename the awards. 7.
It's remarkable. From Spokane, and he plays, frankly, like a Zag. He's a face-up forward, could shoot threes, take a charge. Occasionally he'll play center. He plays like a player far beyond his actual experience. Tyson Dagenhart is a menace to the Mountain West and is going to be so as long as he's in Boise.
We're expecting a good one and look forward to having you along for the ride. The Boise State Broncos in town against the Air Force Cadets. Boise State tied with Wyoming to lead the conference, and they're looking for a big win here at Clune Arena. Boise State, their starting 5 will look similar to the last couple goes. They're going to have Max Rice stay in the starting lineup. This is the 4th straight time they've used this one. 4th straight time Max Rice has been in it. Again, Tyson Dagenhart, the reigning Mountain West Freshman of the Year, coming into Clune Arena for the first time. Boise State hasn't played here in a couple years with COVID and the restrictions, so this will be the first time a couple Boise State players have played here. Nick Jackson in the starting lineup for Air Force, his 3rd straight game, coming off 13 points at San Diego State, and of course A.J. Walker leads them all with 15.5 a game. Leon Rice in his 12th season, he's the veteran statesman in the Mountain West Conference, 236 wins. He's the all-time winningest coach for the Broncos in school history. This team, they're just 2-2 in February after rattling off 14 straight wins in the middle of the season. It's getting nuts at Clune Arena tonight. Pack the house. Cadets are here.
And if you're wondering, look, the cadets and the cadet wing fired up for the game. But we got 5-6 inches of snow that has just come down in the last 3 hours or so outside.
That sounds like a little bit of an exaggeration from a Southern California kid, but okay, I'll get the ruler out.
Mountains of snow.
Joe Scott in his 6th season at Air Force again. 2nd season on his 2nd stint was here back in the day when they won a Mountain West championship. He was also the 2003-2004 Mountain West Coach of the Year, an honor that Leon Rice has also won in his tenure. We're getting set for tip and ready to roll.
Pretty important to point out, Boise State still without Emmanuel Aycott, resting that knee, and Najee Smith also out with an illness tonight.
Yeah, non-COVID illness for Najee Smith, so a short bench for Leon Rice and Boise State. And the Broncos won the tip, but David Hall calling him out of bounds right away. Good crew tonight. David Hall, Deldre Carr, and Kelly Pfeiffer in the stripes.
I'd like to point out that David Hall did a great job of not the intimidating ref you have to touch the actual sideline. That's one of those things that officials love to do, where they touch the sideline to make sure you know. He didn't do it. He just said, hey, you stepped on the sideline, point the other way.
So Air Force will have the first possession. Try and score points here. And they'll regather. Ethan Taylor, one of the many freshmen on Joe Scott's staff. The pass up top and the shot clock in single digits. Air Force likes to run it down. And A.J. Walker will take the shot with 2 seconds and lay it in.
They run what I would call a modified Princeton, right? And they're back into kind of what looks like a matchup zone. And they go to man-to-man. They'll switch all handoffs. So there's still the same back cuts and look for backdoor action, but it's not the classic Princeton sets, which are called, you know, chin and elbow, that most in college basketball know.
And a hand on the ball, but it stays at Boise State's side, and going to fire off a shot. Kijab gets it in, so Abu Kijab with the first points for Boise State.
Milan Armas had a wide open layup, and the key to taking care of Air Force is you got to score inside. You can't. They want you to settle for jump shots. Great
nice
pass,
great cut, and one. Jake Heidbreeder, the freshman, will have an opportunity for a three-point play.
So again, it's based upon the spacing and some of the design. But in talking to Joe Scott, he's like, look, the new me, and this is really a new him, right, is I still want guys to backdoor cut. I just don't want to tell them when to do it. You see an opening, you see a space, cut and cut through. His players cut and cut to score very, very well.
Heidbreeder converting, so Air Force up to an early start, 5-2. I love the new Joe Scott.
The new Joe Scott. Same intensity.
I was going to say,
a little more thoughtful.
Same intensity. And Kijab on the other end. You know, 18 years in this business, you know how college basketball has changed a lot. It's changed with the portal. Air Force doesn't have that advantage. You got to groom kids and groom them early. And with 10 freshmen being the third youngest team in the country, he's doing that with this group and trying to see progress every week. Yeah,
I mean, look, when they were in this league and winning it, BYU was in it, and you're playing against, you know, grown men. The one thing Air Force does have is the prep school, so you do have a little bit older players.
The drive and dish didn't fall for Heidbreeder.
But you got Heidbreeder, who he loves. I mean, he just raves about Heidbreeder.
Big shot. The guy's always a big shot. Marcus Shaver Jr. with 3.
Yeah, it's a little early in the game for Marcus Shaver to hit shots.
Yeah, you got to wait till that clock's winding down.
Yes.
Drive and outside. That ball's stuffed. And a whistle. Going to call the foul on Muladen Armouche. First of the game.
We mentioned Shaver, who he brings the ball to the court, but not really a point guard. Man, that guy can score, and obviously hit the big 3 Sunday to send it to overtime.
First game to overtime against Colorado State. And of course, Colorado State ended up victorious in that one. 2 losses for Leon Rice's squad here in February. He's had to deal with the injuries. You mentioned Emmanuel Acott.
Bam.
And there's a big 3 from his son, Max Rice. He has stepped up big. That shot's starting to fall for him, and he's helped out in the starting lineup.
Well, Max is an outstanding shooter, and I think now he's taking better shots. He's not feeling his rush, you know, and he was coming off injury to start the year, and he's still not running as well as he did pre-injury. But this is a game where he should have plenty of opportunities for catch-and-shoot jump shots.
8-0 run for Boise State, and it's 10-5. That shot doesn't fall, and a rebound with a foul going on Nick Jackson.
And the extra pass from Shaver, the pass fake for Max Rice, and the second 3 for the Broncos. Flawless basketball so far from Boise State. So it feels like a matchup zone, and then you start cutting through, like, are they in man? Are they in zone? It's just really a switching man-to-man where you can throw that ball inside. They play behind the post.
Lucas Milner getting his first minutes and first point. Still have a three-point chance.
Now Nick Jackson ends up on the wrong end of that. His second personal foul. And this is a challenge for Air Force inside. Excellent post position from Lucas Milner. Johnson City Community College transfer. Getting a chance for bigger minutes because of the slim bench of the Broncos.
Just his 5th free throw attempt of the season. Now he's 3 points in the game. Jackson collected 2 quick fouls in 18 seconds. It's not going to earn any more minutes, I'll tell you that. Outside, a look for the lefty.
Camden Vanderswijk can shoot that basketball. So can Max Rice. But the challenge for Boise is going to be, if you've watched Air Force, how many touches they got. Even though you're open for Boise, get 3-4 touches, you'll get an open jump shot.
Boise off and running on the road at 13-5 with 15:46 to go in the first. Well, these two teams hooked up in Boise on January 18th, and the Broncos, they came out fast. They hit their first 5 shots, took the lead, and never looked back. Dagenhart had 19 points, and Acott, who's out with the injury tonight, had 12. He was 4 for 4 from three-point land. Nick Jackson did chime in. He led the way with 17 for the Falcons, but Boise State held on to the 62-56 victory. Air Force even out-rebounded Boise State, and that rarely happens. Right now, they're up 13-5. They're on an 11-0 run, are the visitors. So after that timeout, what's Joe Scott's plan here?
Well, you got to deal with the mixed lineups. Wow. Vanderswijk with a wide-open drive. As Boise not really helping.
Vanderswijk from Iowa, the junior. Broke that scoring run for Boise State, 13-7. Broncos working the perimeter and get it inside for the easy jam. Lucas Milner, who averages just 6.5 minutes a game and 11 points on the season, getting the feed machine right now.
Feed that big fella till he burps.
Nick Jackson stays in this game with 2 fouls for Air Force. He's hit the 3, and they're going to call the whistle for the foul, so he'll have free throws. Foul's going to go on Milner.
Not a great play by Milner, but this is. The ball swung around him. He gets low post position, and Vanderswijk, who had the dunk at the other end, ends up giving up a dunk at the defensive end. But look, it's a challenge for Air Force to get big men to play here anyway, right? And then the style of play, because they like big guys to be able to step out, face up, not always conducive. Remember, in addition to the fact that you can't take transfers, you can't take foreign players.
Right.
All the stuff that everybody else is able to do, transfer, portal nation, right? Recruiting Euros and even kids that grow up in foreign countries and come here to go to prep and to high school. Can't do it here.
Limitations of the academy, but they also know what kind of kid they're going to get.
Totally.
They're going to get a strong-minded, strong-willed athlete, and that's the big plan for Joe Scott here with these young freshmen, is try and build the toughness.
Correct. And the process does work. Look at what year 4 looked like last time he was here. And then, of course, he handed it off to Chris Mooney, who handed it off to Jeff Bezdelik. And it was an incredibly successful program. It's a little bit harder now that everybody's playing the transfer and foreign player game, but it's not impossible. And I think you got the right guy doing it. This is a good fit for Joe Scott.
Pavle Kuzmanovic in for the Broncos. And he's going to travel.
Powell's a shooter, not necessarily a driver. And this is a little funky sort of defense where he drove in there. He never looked at the basket. Max Rice checks out. He's, he had a couple off-season procedures done that they haven't mentioned. They've never used as excuses, but he's not moving right tonight. He's going to have to play with their illness and injury issues.
Took 5.5 minutes before the first turnover in this game, and Air Force trying to make it costly for the Broncos. A.J. Walker will look to drive, and he steps out for the three. Off the rim, ends up with the Broncos. 5-point game. Boise looking to build their lead back. And a push underneath. Lucas Mormon, the freshman from Colorado Springs, Colorado, getting his first. Armouche coming back in for the Broncos.
That was a good old-fashioned push. Watch the left arm. Get out of bounds. But they're going to need one of their freshmen big to eventually become a player. Lucas played last year at Air Force Prep. They run the same system. Coaches get a chance to keep an eye on them.
Hijab missing. Falcons will push it up. Only to settle it down, right? That's how you roll when you're Air Force. Got him. Highbreeder with 6.
Jake Highbreeder, Floyd Knobs, Indiana, from Floyd Central High School. When you talk to Joe Scott about his crew, it's like, how about my boy Highbreeder? That kid can play.
And the dunk inside.
It's just a test of your patience. If you're patient, you can literally get shots at the block or at the rim seemingly every possession. They just do not have the size, age, and ability to guard you inside. Man or zone, doesn't matter.
It's hard to when you're talking about a 6'10" guy like Armouche.
He's a monster. Just a grown man as a rebounder.
And 5 on the shot clock. Got to put it up, but nowhere near. It's going to be a shot clock violation and a turnover for Air Force.
Ethan Taylor with a possession that he would like to go away, but mentioned Highbringer. Tremendous player within the offense. That was their 7th pass. And Big Armouche doing a little chin up. Getting an early look here at Cason Pryor. Just a sophomore, but he's playing at Linkier Prep, which has just become a prep school factor. I think they're ranked number 2 in the country. And Cason promptly gets in, turns the basketball over, and gets it back.
He hasn't played since San Diego State. Hijab back out to Rice. Long 3. That's off the rim and a rebound for Air Force. Mormon getting in there. Here the cadets getting into it here at Clune Arena. Again, snowy night. They're expecting about 2,000 cadets to be here on Pack the House night, but I think just like you, Doug, they took one look out and said, no thanks. Yeah. Surprised we got you in the gym.
Yeah.
Drive, easy lane for Highbreeder. The freshman with 8.
It's alarmingly bad defense from the Broncos.
All of a sudden, it's a 2-point game as the Falcons trail. Boise State looking for a big shot. That guy likes to make it. He'll get fouled and 1. Marcus Shaver Jr. came to play in the first half tonight.
Now, Marcus Shavers loves the clutch 3, especially the step back, but sometimes sheer force of will. Put your chin down and drive in. Highbringer finishes, and Shaver says, I see you, I got you. Broncos up 4. Back in the campus of the Air Force Academy at Clune Arena, where Boise is 8 for 11 from the field. No problem with their offense. It's their defense that's giving them issues. As Air Force gets in their offense, they simply back cut, reverse the basketball, and as Jake Highbringer gets the ball, finish it right there, guys. There is no help. There's no help. Where's Armus in the lane? Where's Marcus Shaver in the lane in help? Everybody's hugging up on their man, and I get that Air Force can move it and can shoot some threes, but it's not like they got a bunch of dudes shooting 45% from the three-point line. The lack of help defense has allowed 3 dead layups for Air Force so far early in this game.
They've been holding teams under 60 points a game. That's 11th best in the nation. So I have a feeling Leon Rice had a few things to say about that in the timeout. 3-point play converted for Shaver Jr. He has 6. Heidbreeder leads all scorers in this one with 8. Air Force trailing by 5. AJ Walker again, the veteran, one of the lone seniors. Abe Kinery joins him, doesn't get as many minutes. Walker throwing up the 3 and splash.
Well, the idea of playing a zone against a Princeton style of offense is you don't have to guard the cuts. You don't have to worry about the help side defense. The problem is they're such a good passing team and have great spacing. They just overloaded on the weak side.
It's going to be an off-ball foul down below, and they're going to call it on a Boo Kijab.
See, that's just a weak side overload. So when we were growing up, in high school, college basketball, used to overload a side, then pass to the other side and overload a side. It's just a numbers game, like the military, right? You outflank them. 4 on one side and 3 defenders. But now the style of college basketball, and it's come really from Europe, is you want to overload the weak side because everybody's so prone to pay attention to basketball. You put 2, one on the weak side wing, one on the weak side corner. Watch for Air Force when Boise goes to that zone to overload on the weak side.
And a wide open lane for AJ Walker. He takes it, and Rice got a hand on it. Boise will come up with the ball. Here they go the other way, and Rice can't handle it out of bounds, and they'll trade turnovers.
Now, Max Rice, I mean, you watch him run, and it's painful to watch him. He had a foot surgery over the summer, and he's just out there hobbling. And I think he wanted to catch that and shoot a 3. That was a little bit advanced for him. The Shaver is looking for his teammates. It's not a selfishness. Max can't get his body running and his hands connected.
Max was a force coming off the bench for his dad, Leon Rice, and ended up in the starting lineup with Emmanuel Acott out. So you mentioned the injuries, dealing with him everywhere. Ooh. And there's a wide open lane and a brick off the backboard.
That's not a foul.
No whistle, so I'll say no. Got it.
I mean, huge stretch.
Big 3 for Shaver.
Lower intestinal fortitude from Marcus Shaver Jr. Not scared of the big moment. Close game, block dunk, come down, hit a 3, 5-point swing.
23-18, lead back up to 5 for Boise State. And on the other side, the freshman in Heidbreeder has something to say about it. He's in double figures. Cut it back to a 2-point lead. Rice feeds inside. Armouche back out, and they'll work it around. There's going to be a charge call by David Hall.
What a great, smart play from A.J. Walker. He guessed, and he guessed right. It's Tyson Degenhardt, who's usually at the other end of this. This is what he does. He takes charges. But A.J. Walker guessed that he was shot faking to go into his right, set on the right hand, and took the charge. Degenhardt's
going to head to the bench with his second personal, and that brings Kuzmanovic back in. This is a big possession for Air Force.
Huge.
Handoff, handed to the hot hand. He tries to get it back to Warman. Air Force will be patient. Down to 7. Ethan Taylor over to A.J. Walker. He has to put the ball up, and the floater good! It's a tied game at 23. Seven points for Walker. Armouche had to get the ball off. He found a wide open Kuzmanovic for 3 and his first points of the game. Walker drives and pulls it out. And Taylor can't find a lane. And the ball loose. It's going to go out of bounds with Air Force. It's going to lead us to a media timeout and a 3-point lead for the visitors. Broncos up 26-3, but the Falcons not going away, led by their senior in A.J. Walker. Boise State only has 2 losses in conference play, and on Sunday, one of them came in the hands of Colorado State. Marcus Shaver Jr., though, tied up the game late. This is what he does. Step back 3, and this one went to OT. Here it appears that Isaiah Stevens may have been fouled by Abu Kijab, but no foul was called, and there was an inadvertent whistle spoiling Boise State's chance for the win. In overtime, David Roddy went to work doing what he does, possibly the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. He had a game-high 18 points, and the Rams held on for the 77-74
you doing
victory.
The neutral thing might have been fouled. It was a foul.
I'm just reading what the highlights said, okay? You know what?
That's fair enough.
It's been a rough road.
Blame it on the card. That's okay.
It's been rough for the Broncos with the teams from the I-25 corridor. They're lost to Wyoming,
yes.
They're lost to Colorado State, and now they're trying to not lose to Air Force today.
Now, is that on the court? Don't you, to go to Wyoming, you have to...
It's off the corridor. I appreciate that. You got some good,
Mountain West knowledge?
Mountain West knowledge.
What's the road that goes from Fort Collins to Laramie? That beautiful road where you go...
287.
It's 287?
Yes, and I say it very slow because it is scary in the winter.
Just listen, if you're a Mountain West fan, you watch it like in the fall, you should do that drive. Or in the summer, you should do that drive. But I will warn you, there's about 12 miles of no cell service. And I remember driving it to do my first game in Laramie thinking, if I pop a tire here.
Yeah, not one you want to be stuck on with weather coming your way.
But then the core guys run from one place to the other, right? Because it's a rivalry, the border war.
Yes, the border war. It's a very cool tradition. Dagenhart finally getting involved. His first points of the game. He hits a 3, 29-23, and a 6-point advantage for the Broncos.
Tyson's got that thing where he's just fearless. I mean, he hadn't been playing well. He charged last time, then he hits a 3. And
dunk on the other end. Mormon's like, I'm 6'10", just put the ball in there.
They're not happy with Armish's defense. He's going to come out. But Dagenhart hits a 3 and then gives the old, hold down the 3 celebration. He is just a fearless kid.
Well inside, Armouche trying to stay in the game, and a block by Mormon. They're going to call a travel. What a sequence of events, leaving Leon Rice puzzled on the sidelines.
Apoplectic.
Fantastic work. I bet your SAT score was phenomenal.
I didn't do the wordle today. Too many letters for it. All right, you make the call. Armouche, that's a little bit of a push, but a good block. He gets the ball back. We'll have to take one more look at it.
And the whistle said it was a travel. The picture can't tell you. Shot clock down to 8, and A.J. Walker loses it to Shaver Jr. the other way, and the easy layup won't go, and Mormon's grabbing his arm.
Well, Mormon hurt his shoulder and walked through today.
He did.
He's got a little, and then Shaver got a flat tire. He thought he was going up to dunk it. Watch Walker, kind of goes behind him, scares him a little bit. He just got a flat tire. Misses a dead layup, and then Mormon, I don't think it was a foul. I think it's a pre-existing shoulder injury that just sometimes it gets hit and it really hurts him.
Joe Scott is livid with David Hall getting in his ear on that one. Yeah, Lucas Mormon took some time away from the shoot-around today, kind of grabbed that shoulder, so you wonder if it just pulled it the wrong way. You can kind of see the tape that he has on that left shoulder.
I talked to Joe in his office before the game, and I said, well, last time I did the game, you didn't have 4 of your top 7 against Colorado State. You're fully healthy. He's like, nah, Mormon hurt his shoulder at shoot-around. That's a foul. And he's wearing a brace on that left shoulder for a reason. I said, how do you hurt? He's like, he's got this little shoulder thing, and we're doing underneath out of bounds, walking through some stuff, and he bumped into one of his teammates, and he was writhing in pain. Writhing's a good word, too.
I mean, add them to your list.
You done your wordle today?
No, I haven't gotten into it. You'll have to teach me later.
Very addictive.
You're with the kids. So Mormon will be on the bench. Nick Jackson with 2 fouls back in the game. Approaching the 5:30 mark here in the first half. I mean, he's had a wide open lane this entire game, but can't finish there for Highbreeder. Rice dishing, and Dagenhart a whistle. So it's gonna be on Mills.
Leon's just trying to find somebody who's gonna play some defense. And Dagenhart did a great job of help defense and then switching off on a back cut last time around. The offense hasn't been the issue. He's trying to find 5 guys who can guard.
One of the best balanced offenses in the Mountain West Conference. Spread their points. 4 different players, averaging double figures. Shaver Jr. double team behind the back and didn't know where the shot clock was. So a shot clock violation for the Broncos. And Milner is going to get a little jabbing from the coaches on the sideline.
Well, this is the future of Air Force basketball. If you're watching the Mountain West, Ethan Taylor and Jake Highbreeder, those two are going to be special in Falcon uniforms.
Nick Jackson ends up with the ball. And Ethan Taylor with the nice pass off Jackson's foot, and it'll go to the Broncos.
Well, hit off his knee. They're trying to say somebody else touched it beforehand, but that thing came off like a rocket off his knee. And then it touched the Broncos' hand before it went out of bounds.
Well, the Broncos have it. They're going to try and do something with it. Long 3 for Rice. No good. And the follow from Milner. 7 points for the senior.
Lucas is playing his tail off, earning minutes.
He had 11 points in the season coming in. He has 7 in this game. And a foul call on Jeffrey Mills, so he picks up another. That's 2.
If you're just joining us, quick reminder, Emmanuel Acott is out with a knee, still sitting out and resting. They played Wyoming. He was somewhere in the 25 to 50% variety. Najee Smith's just under the weather. Not COVID, just really not feeling it.
Tough to have a short bench this time of the season when you're on the road.
Yeah, you're playing altitude. And you're playing against a team that, and what I think people think is like, well, Air Force doesn't score a bunch, so you don't get tired. Like, no, you got to guard their offense.
Their offense will make you work. Shaver Jr. makes the first end of the one-on-one. He's in double figures with 10. It's 9 conference games now. He's ended up with double digits. Make it 11. Air Force's scoring drought nearing 3 minutes. There's a lane and a turnaround in. Good for Jeffrey Mills.
What a great playoff, too. Mills, another freshman that they want to build around. Tremendous balance. It's called playing off, too.
Shaver Jr. drove.
Shaver, same move.
Got it.
Same result.
Boise State shooting 67% from the field. Good handoff by Ethan Taylor, but couldn't control it in a jump ball. Possession arrow will be with the Broncos.
Well, we mentioned the youth movement here in Colorado Springs. This, yet another young, talented player, Jeffrey Mills. See it? Fake it? Finish it.
The down-team Falcon needs more to cheer about because Air Force trailing by 8, the largest lead for the Broncos in this one. Let's take a look at the net rankings around the Mountain West Conference. 6 teams have landed in the top 70, led by Colorado State. They're at 26, followed by Wyoming, who again lost on the road at New Mexico last night with a 34. Boise State at 41. When you look at their tournament resume, things are looking good for Leon Rice. He is 1 win away from having 9 of his 12 seasons with 20-plus wins, a 10-2 conference record. Again, that net ranking at 41. How many teams will get in the tournament? That's going to be the big question, with still plenty of games to play before the conference championship.
I would be surprised if they get less than 3. I would be equally surprised if they got 5. I think 3 is probably the magic number with the potential of 4. It's like playing, you ever play spades?
Yeah.
And table talk, you're not supposed to table talk, but 3 with a possible, that's where they are. And look, Boise can, if you sweep San Diego State, you sweep Utah State. You know, you split with Wyoming. I think you're in pretty good shape. Now, obviously, you got that Colorado State game, last game of the year. Wow, that was a hell of a screen.
Max Rice into the floor, and the back door, good for Jeffrey Mills.
So when you're guarding Air Force, you got to be very careful. I mean, obviously, Max falls down, but there's a couple ways to guard it. You can zone it.
How about that? Just pull up if you're Kuzmanovic.
Kuzmanovic can really shoot. Remember this team when they were struggling early in the year, free throw shooting was a major problem. That's why they lost to St. Louis at home. And shooting overall has been an issue. And that's why Kuzmanovic has earned some more minutes.
Jeffrey Mills out to the three-point line, and Carter Murphy hands it off. Getting his first minutes of action. Shot clock down. Sitting at 2, they got to shoot, and the freshman does it, throws up a prayer. It does hit the rim, so no shot clock violation. And how about an offensive rebound? The drive, can't finish, and the Broncos will have it.
Mills got a little thirsty for that drive. He's wide open to step into a shot. And I don't know if Max Rice has been illegally screened, but twice, the last 2 possessions, he's gone down in a heap after making some contact with Nick Jackson.
And they're going to call a charge on him on that end as Jeffrey Mills hot position. That'll be Rice's first. He's playing hard, there's no doubt about it.
So you make the call. Pretty easy call. I don't love it because he didn't extend the arm. Usually they call it if you extend the arm, you lower the shoulder. I hate that call. I hate the offensive foul, and I don't actually like, it doesn't need to be a block. Like, tell the guy to get up and let's keep playing. But he did have kind of a Heisman arm up sort of look. I was under the impression usually you have to either lower that shoulder, which he kind of did, or extend the arm, which he didn't do. But they are going to call contact and give the defense the benefit of the doubt.
Major Walker asked Mormon to cut, distracted all the Broncos defense, and he just took it himself. 9 for Walker. Back to a single-digit lead for the Broncos. 38 seconds to go here in the first half. Shaver Jr., this is his time to shine.
Where?
16 points for the redshirt senior from Phoenix, Arizona. Wide open, and the 3-ball, no good. He's really been working on that shot. Perimeter shooting, a big point of emphasis for Mormon.
How about we get Marcus Shaver Jr. the basketball?
Yep, 7 seconds, good time to do it. Step back, that's a shot, and nails it. 19 points for Shaver Jr. to lead all Broncos.
Now you have tuned into the Marcus Shaver Jr. highlight show, where Marcus Shaver Jr. is putting on highlights. Little push-off, step back, jump shot, splash. This after an NBA distance 3, and Leon Rice with quite the strut walking up the floor. Yeah, Coach, that 13-1 when leading at halftime, and that thanks in large part to his redshirt senior Marcus Shaver Jr. putting on a show.
14-point advantage for Boise State as we head to the half. They made their last 5 field goals. The offense is running here in Colorado Springs. 45-31. The visiting Broncos have the lead here in Colorado Springs. The snow is coming down, but Boise State heating up just before the half to take the lead over Air Force. How about Marcus Shaver taking over?
Snowing outside, but raining inside. Marcus Shaver Jr. Splash, splash. Wait, I'll get an and one just to show that I'm not simply a shooter. Then the sidestep three, and then to end the half. Pushes off a little bit, step back against the freshman bottoms. Marcus Shaver Jr. is a bucket, and he is locked in today.
6 for 7 from the field, perfect from three-point range. Air Force trying to hang around with the cadets in town, or in the house, 45-31. Cadets in the house wanted to pack the house. Snow can't keep them down. 45-31, their team is down right now. They're gonna have to cheer them back here in the second half. Boise State led by Marcus Shaver Jr. with 18 points. But one glaring difference between these two squads, one's making a lot of buckets. 73.9% field goal shooting percentage for the visiting team.
Marcus Shaver's been amazing, but it was really Boise State started to play some defense, but you know, Shaver transferred in from Portland playing for Terry Porter. Remember, he played for Mike Bibby in high school at Shadow Mountain. That's the Mike Bibby, Arizona national champion, guy who played in the NBA, was an NBA All-Star. But he left.
A thing or two about shooting.
And I know the losing at Portland was hard, but you always wonder when you get a guy that transferred in from a program that doesn't win, if he was, even though he scored a bunch, if he was the leading scorer on a bad team and the reason they weren't winning was him. And Shaver's shown to be an absolute winner.
And it's going to go in at the buzzer. So no shot clock violation, yet Ethan Taylor finally getting in the mix. The freshman's first points of the game. He averages 9.6. He and Jake Heidbreeder are tied for the second leading scorers on Air Force. Of course, Heidbreeder with 11 points in the first half. Shaver Jr. did not want halftime to come. He was so hot ending the first half, but they're going to feed the big man. And there'll be a whistle down below. So they're going to call a flop.
Flop warning.
On Heidbreeder.
Now, I have a problem with this, okay? Armish catches the ball, and it's in dead zone. There's nothing you can do, really, except to foul him, let him go. Heidbreeder just kind of falls down. I don't think that's the design or the idea of the flopping call is for guys that throw their head back and act like they get fouled every time. It is a little bit to take away the charge flops.
So another flop call, and that'll result in one free throw for Boise State. Foul going on Marcus Shaver Jr. That's his first.
Now if you're Boise, you want to try and put away Air Force, but you can't put them away. You didn't get the lead with one possession. You can't put them away with one possession. Get a stop, get a bucket, get a stop, get a bucket, get a stop, get a bucket. You get up 20, Air Force is not coming back from down 20. It's not by design.
Driving the hole up and in. So Ethan Taylor part of the game plan in the second half.
Taylor super talented, and of course when they had some bad COVID issues, Armish gets the layup.
And gets the roll. 6 points for Armish. And a turnover. Heidbreeder with the pass right to the Broncos. Now they have to try and save it. And Kijab does. Armouche says, I'm going to go for it. And they get the charge call. It's 2 for Armouche.
So the possession before, here's where Boise runs this. A lot of people run it. Just a little cross screen. Armouche coming in, catching and finishing. That's where he's at his best. It's called sealing and catching with angles. That was a nice spin move that he just charged on, but that's not what he does best. He's a catch with angles sort of guy. And he's so strong that if he gets the angle, you're not blocking the shot, you're not getting position on it. But he is not a post move sort of dude.
Shot clock to 7 and a whistle.
See, now that actually was a flop. if you go back and watch as Nick Jackson tries to set a screen, he throws his arms up and his head back, and that is actually the design of that flopping call, because it's really hard to find if that's a foul or not a foul when a guy throws his head back every time he's bumped.
Second personal on Max Rice, and PJ Walker gets stuffed away. Inside, Dagenhart, no go. Offensive board put back. And the foul on Jackson, he'll pick up his third.
Armish, of course. What an addition, transferring in from East Tennessee State. Went to prep school, prepped at Southwest Christian Academy in Little Rock. Step on the line.
Violation.
Yeah.
So no free throw there, and it's going to be Air Force ball.
Kejap is trying to calm the bench. The bench is so upset. Like, hey, every point matters. He's like, I got it. I got it. The guy that should be most upset is Armish, who's not a good free throw shooter, and he meant it.
Free throw shooter, under 40%. In fact, the entire Boise State team is not good free throw shooters, and perfect today. Got 3 misses, and he'll stay with Air Force. Shot clock resets to 20. Air Force has struggled from 3 their last couple games, trying to get something going. They'll do it with A.J. Walker inside. Good look.
Remember, Walker had that last drive blocked by Marcus Shaver. Shaver's hobbling a little bit in the second half.
Feeds inside, wide open, and Armush with the finishing foul.
I'm not a fan of Mladen Armish's act right here. I mean, these are servicemen who are going to serve our country. And this is the way he treats them? One dribble. Oh!
Destroyed.
Ethan Taylor, the freshman, getting baptized. Who knew he'd showed up and get baptized?
Armush gets a chance to go back to the line and prove himself. Cadets don't scare him. He's been working on the free throws.
No, he made his last 3, and that bench is sitting over going, you know, he would have gotten carried for all 3 if Kejap didn't lane violate last time down.
Armush is up to 10. Looking for 3, had to keep it in, and the ball stays with Air Force. Walker to Taylor, he's had 4 points this half. Walker takes it, got it. A.J. Walker with 14 and trying to keep Air Force in this. From the corner. Doesn't get the roll, and Air Force will have another opportunity. Get Highbreeder involved. You can do it by assist, you can, but it's a charge call.
Great play by Dagenhart.
That's
Right
4
in
on
position.
Jackson.
Right in position. Well, it's the interior presence of Boise which has given them the advantage in the second half. And Mladen Armish, the Serbian. That's nasty.
Well, he's been at it a long time. Air Force Falcons head coach Joe Scott in his second tour of duty with Air Force was here for his first head coaching job back in 2001 to 2004. They won the Mountain West Conference Championship, and they made their first NCAA appearance in 42 years. That year they had their first ever AP ranking. They also earned Mountain West Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year honors. He ended up going to Princeton, his alma mater. He was at DU as a head coach before being an assistant, and right back here to a very familiar place. He gets it. He knows how you have to recruit here. He knows how to build a program here. And he's starting from scratch with 10 freshmen.
No question. And if you remember that team, they had a bunch of underclassmen. Nick Welch, Antoine Hood, of course, Jacob Birchie, who became a star. Matt McCraw is over here, you know. They had freshmen and sophomore that played with Tim Keller, that played with A.J. Cool, that played with Joe Gerlach.
Kuzmanovic getting in on the action. It was Armouche who had all the points for Boise State in the second half. They're up by 15.
That team allowed 50 points per game. 50. Number one in the country.
How about that? Count it. Breeder getting the 3-ball, trying to make it a 4-point play.
Jake Highbreeder. You go under the screen on him and he makes you pay.
Freshman from Floyd's Knob, Indiana. 14 points and an assist tonight, make it 15. He averages just under 10 a game. 12 games in double figures now. Think about when these kids get in the weight room, get bigger. You start to fast forward if you're a coach, not too much because you have to focus on the development with the foul underneath. But you're starting to think about weight room, what they can do their junior year, senior year. It's about the future for sure at Air Force.
Abu Kijab just driving to the hoop, putting his chin down, and that's where Lucas Mormon needs to step up and put his chest out and take a charge.
First foul on A.J. Walker of the game.
Kijab, I mean, the perfect example. He turned 23 in November. You're talking about an adult. That's the Mountain West is a league where you have these high major transfers. I mean, Abu Kijab was a highly touted, very well regarded player before he got to Boise, and has lived up to those expectations since transferring in from Oregon.
Of course, coming back this year, trying to finish things off right. He was injured last year. Wants to win a Mountain West Conference championship before he's done. When you think about all the seniors on Leon Rice's team, most of them can come back next year. And that's me a travel. So Ethan Taylor turns the ball over. Talking about men against boys in this game. When you just look at the ages, you're 22, 23, getting up to 24 years old, and you have these freshmen, some of them went to the prep school at 18. They're sitting at 18, 19 years old on the court.
Remember their lives, especially as freshmen, they're dualies. It is a tough go first year here at the academy.
And Marcus Shaver Jr. cold now. Just cold, ice cold. Shut down.
He just missed a shot.
Just kidding, obvious.
Oh, okay.
18 for him. Had a bunch right before the half to build a big lead. A.J. Walker blows up, and the floater nowhere near the rim. Speaking of ice cold, did you go outside earlier today?
I did.
Shaver off the glass. He's heating back up. Do you see? You see how that goes? He has 20 points in the contest.
So are you doing the reverse announcer jinx? You call out a guy for being cold and he hits up?
I just do what I gotta do.
Mountains of snow outside. Mountains. Hey, but warm inside for Marcus Shaver. He called glass. I heard it from here. Broncos up 16.
Welcome back to Clune Arena. 13-17 to go in this one, a 16-point lead for the visiting Broncos. Jenny Kavner, Doug Gottlieb back with you. And let's take a look at the freshmen in the country. Air Force has 10 of them. That's third most. How about Arizona with 13, just above Dayton, who has 11. 13 freshmen for a team that's doing pretty darn well in college basketball this year.
Now, they had a lot of talent returning as well. Okay, so the numbers are skewed, but Arizona's fun to watch.
They are fun to watch.
And I'll be honest with you. I've known Tommy Lloyd for 25 years, and I was really surprised that they didn't give Damon Stoudemire or Miles Simon a shot, especially it's an A-players program, but he has exceeded anyone's realistic expectations. And Sean Miller left him some good players. They play beautiful basketball. That's a fun team to watch because they play fun basketball.
Back here in Mountain West action, Emmanuel Acott, who is the Arizona transfer, is on the bench with that knee injury again. So Boise State is playing short, and yet they're doing pretty good tonight.
So Shaver gets the call on the charge, and this is where you tell kids to play off 2 feet. What's that mean? You don't have to jump stop, but you just 1-2 because the help comes. They're in position to take a charge. if Ethan Taylor's on balance, he's got a wide open teammate.
Nice feed. Speaking of wide open, all you have to do is put the floater up and in for Milner.
Milner having a great night.
9 points and perfect from the field. Off the foot of Ethan Taylor. He'll recollect. Falcons will wind the shot clock down. And Vandersloot can't get it to go, but finds the rebound in his arms. Taylor with the drive and dish. He'll drive to the other side. Taylor finds himself wide open and an air ball. Shaver feeds inside. Guess who's wide open? Milner in double figures.
Lucas Milner's having himself a game. Got to see the basketball there. Another charge taken by Marcus Shaver.
That's 3 on Jeffrey Mills.
Lucas Milner eating the Broncos up 20 behind the big fella.
20-point lead for the visiting Broncos, and a couple Broncos fans in the house tonight. Proud mama, Robin Rice. I guess she's a proud coach's wife too, because her husband, Leon Rice, has been with Boise State for the last 12 years. That's her son, Brock, also the oldest of 3 boys.
This is the first road conference game she has ever made.
Conference game ever.
She has ever made.
And Leon said she's coming, and I kind of thought, why? And I was like, oh yeah, her son's on the team too. That's right.
Of course, Brock had a nice career at Bushnell, and then his younger son, Cade, who played AAU basketball with Tyson Degenhart, is playing prep school ball in Missouri.
Senior this year, could see the Rice brothers on the court together, potentially. That'd be pretty cool.
It's a lot of rice. I'm not that much of a carb guy.
A turnover that's not going to make Leon Rice happy. He comes out to give Key Jabs 2 cents.
Key Jab's smiling, and Leon
He's not going to be smiling for much longer.
I think he's explained to me, like, look, I understand you're probably a little frustrated. This feels like a game where you should get your average up, and Marcus is killing it, and Lucas is killing it. But you gotta tighten this stuff up.
Again, it's the beauty of the Broncos. When you look around, they can spread the ball so well. That 3 off the mark for Air Force. Keyjab's their leading scorer with 13.9 points a game. He has 7 in this contest. Arush has 10. Of course, Shaver Jr. leading the way with 20. Feet inside for Dagenhart. He thought about it, dribbles out. Rice with the one-handed pass over to Shaver Jr. Inside, and Milner, they're going to call a charge.
I mean, it's not a charge every time, is it? Oh.
That's a second.
Everybody called it. You make the call, Jenny. I won't say a word. Give it to the middle.
Put that back
goes
on
to the baseline.
There's an elbow in there.
There's an elbow, but that's stand up, dude. You got to stand up, play defense. Basketball is a contact sport, not a collision sport. Another straight line drive and nobody in help.
A foul down on Rice. That'll be his 3rd for Max.
You know, Lucas Milner, who got called for that offensive foul, having a great night. And both his parents, he was raised in a deaf household. And pretty interesting, you know, his dad's actually the principal of the Kansas School of the Deaf. His dad is Kevin Milner Sr. and his mom Nancy. They both work as teachers. But he struggled in school when he was a little kid because he learned sign language before he could learn to speak. And sign language is different than normal
verbal communication.
Yes, verbal communication and written communication. But a late bloomer and a guy who has been just a tremendous teammate for his time here.
Wow. Rick Jackson with the slam. He's been in foul trouble tonight. He's had 4, but his point total up to 5 now. That's a great story.
Yeah, my brothers at San Diego State, they recruited Kyle Spain. Same thing, deaf household. Both unbelievable students.
Rice took the 3 and got it to jiggle in. to show up for Mama if she's going to come, right?
Totally, right? Here's the problem, though. I told Leon this before the game. You know, if you win, now she's got to come to every game.
Now she's going to come.
I mean, look, this is
a road game.
This is a 6-point game at home. They're winning by 21. The only possible logical reason, you know, playing without Emmanuel Acott is that his wife came to the game.
That's probably it. Give it to Mrs. Rice. Heidbreeder with another 3. He has 4 of them on the evening and 18 points. So the freshman trying his best to keep Air Force in it, but Boise State has been a force. They're up 67-49. Always fun to look at a day in the life of an Air Force cadet. Of course, these cadets are also Falcons because they're student athletes. For Carter Murphy, here's his average day, Doug. First of all, he's waking up at 6:15. You got to have your morning officer development, then breakfast, aeronautical engineering. Like, I'm already spent. I'm out, and it's only 7:30. On to 8:30, financial accounting. You have management perspectives. You do your lunch squadron meetings, and then it's time for practice. Like, most people are exhausted with that schedule, or they don't even get that schedule complete in 7 days of the week. These guys do it in a morning.
They don't say aim low, they say aim high in the Air Force.
It's good.
If you don't respect what these young men put forth in terms of energy and effort just to be out here every night, you're rooting for the wrong things, and men and women. But these young men, I mean, this is a tough deal, I mean, especially when you think of a good portion of college basketball players take a good amount of their classes online, and there are days, even weeks, forget about COVID, where they don't step foot on campus. That's not the case here at the academy. Remember, if you read that, you have to march to lunch. You don't just go like, hey, let's just go have lunch. Like, no, you're marching to lunch.
Make sure your uniform is ironed, make sure your shoes are polished, make sure your bed is made the correct way. It's not lackadaisical ever.
That would be the part that I would struggle most with
the bed.
I enjoy a good made bed. I don't make a good bed. Just being honest there. There's nothing like getting into a made bed, but what's the time of the day where you're like, you know what, it's not worth it?
So you got to do it first thing. How about that? Backdoor cut. And Keyjab's like, I'll get my points.
Is it before noon? Is it afternoon? Like, you walk in, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, your bed's not made. You're like, come on, it's not really worth it for 4 hours.
It's discipline, and you have to have it.
Totally.
Doesn't matter what time it is. You got to do it. These guys have to have it done before that 6:15 time rolls around. 3 ball, and good. Carter Murphy on the board.
See, that's the extra shooting practice that Carter Murphy had on his schedule.
I'm really glad that we showed his schedule.
In addition to aeronautical engineering.
It's cool because Carter Murphy's brother is on the squad as well, a freshman, and Jake Murphy. And they got to connect earlier this year at Utah State. Speaking of connecting, I think he just looked at Mom and said, that one's for you too. Come to the game, go get 3 threes. Maybe there's more in there. Don't want to sell him short. Carter Murphy on Max Rice, and the hook is short. Well, you mentioned that Robin Rice has to now come to the road games. There's a couple of those left that are important at UNLV, and the final one at Colorado State. You think that's going to be a good matchup on March 5th?
That'll be a zoo. What a great atmosphere that place is. Moby Arena is.
They have been selling that place out. The students have been showing up in droves, and Moby has been Moby madness once again in Fort Collins. Zmanovic is off.
That was blatant cheering for your alma mater.
I did not. I did not at all. I just said it's a good atmosphere. You know what's interesting, and we talk about this all the time in the Mountain West Conference, every place is a good atmosphere. In fact, Clune Arena by Ken Palm is ranked 4th hardest place to play. Small gym. 72-52, big lead for Boise State, and that makes the Rice family happy. 20-point advantage for Boise State. They're knocking on the door. Their 20th win of the season, up 72-52 with 7:17 left. Well, Sunday, it's here, the most iconic day in all of motorsports, the Daytona 500. The Great American Race kicks off the 2022 NASCAR season at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
And Kyle Larson starting the year the way he ended it, front row, right there with Alex Bowman.
Back to action at Clune Arena.
40 cars in the field, that sounds like there's going to be smokes. Which means a good race.
I like this NASCAR analyzing that you're doing.
I don't analyze it. I'm just revenues racing. That's what I heard.
Shot clock down to 5. They're going to go. Off the rim and an offensive board. Highbreeder's been playing great today. Doing a little bit of everything. Mormon for 3. It's long.
Well, Mills and Mormon getting extended minutes, but both have to continue to work on that jump shot. That guy does not.
He is on one right now. Max Rice with 3 of his 4 threes here in the second half. He has 12 points. His brother liked it. His mom liked it. 1 for each of the Rices in the building. Can you do it again?
Heat check.
Miss off the rim. Boise State has been shooting ridiculous. 71% from the field. The best they've had in a game all season has been 55.6%. Again, no Emmanuel Acott. Najee Smith out with an illness. So the 23-point advantage, you're still seeing a lot of the starters in.
Well, some of it is by design. Some of it's the fact that they got way too many easy layups and post-ups. That helps. And then, you know, Shaver caught a heater in the first half and Rice in the second half. But some of that is by design, that Air Force wants to make you take jump shots. The problem is they've been way too easy. Uncontested jump shots and too easy post-up shots.
Air Force is working the ball around, and they're going to call check foul. Kuzmanovic picks up his first. Excuse me, second.
Got a text from my buddy that said that Clune Arena looks like the Rams parade. The difference is that it's snowing outside. It was 80 today in Los Angeles.
A little different. A little different weather pattern. Worried about you. Does your rental car have a snow brush?
Listen, I lived in Connecticut for 12 years. I was born in Milwaukee. Like, I'm okay. I'm good.
You're just a SoCal boy.
I want to know your years of growing up here. You can get me on my speeding ticket I got earlier
No,
today.
that I cannot.
Okay, well then you're not of use to me.
I've already figured out
have
this
connections.
place. Nice pass, up and in. Dagenhart with his first points of the second half, and we're at the 4:49 mark. He has 7, averages 10 a game.
Beautiful cut.
Great cut, great finish. Carter Murphy with 5. Reaching foul.
Just a little high-low as Harmish throws it inside to Dagenhart, who's rolling. What a player Tyson Dagenhart is.
Mills has 4 fouls. Ethan Taylor checking out, and a fresh A.J. Walker in.
And of course, there's all those ties that bind to Spokane. Tyson was starred in high school basketball in Spokane, where Leon was a longtime assistant. We mentioned Leon's son, Cade, who played AU basketball with Dagenhart before going to prep school. This kid is special, man. As a freshman, really a 3-position player. But once he stepped in, I mean, it's like you try and figure out why Boise evolved as a team. And you can track it to his first start was the St. Louis game, which they make free throws, they win that game.
Yeah.
They've been a different team ever since.
Once he got in the starting lineup, it went fast as there's a whistle on the floor. Leon Rice said he knew what he was getting. He was getting a great shooter, great basketball player. But just the IQ to get up to college basketball speed, it went so fast. And all of a sudden, that's why they've renamed the Mountain West Freshman of the Year Award the Tyson Dagenhart Award. At least from here on out, I'd like to refer to it as that. He's won it 7 times. That's the 3rd foul for Kuzmanovic.
I just want to know what the flowing mane is going to come back with. He came in, he had a lion mane. He looked like a character from Braveheart. Really.
And he had them all braided up during high school. almost unrecognizable in college. I guess you have to have two different looks, right?
Yeah. Got to break for that high school look.
Maybe it'll go year by year, and you'll get to compare all of his headshots from freshman year to senior year when all is said and done. So it'll come back for you.
He actually looks a lot like Andrew Miller.
Oh, big stuff there from Mormon. Bryce faked, drives, does it the easy way.
Max Rice is having himself a game.
After 3.5 a game, he's up to 14.
It's pretty cool, right? Like your mom never comes to your road game. She's there. Your brother's there. He's got a cold one in hand, yelling at you, cheering you on as you're getting buckets. Great experience.
He had 3 points in the first half. He's been doing all the damage here in the second. Maybe Dad said something at halftime, like, "Hey, your mom came all this way, man. Let's go. Pick it up." AJ Walker keeps it and gets the home court roll.
That's his second made runner with his left hand. AJ, an unbelievable leader and student athlete. We mentioned when Dave Filipovich was released of his duties, he put his name in the portal. Heard from a lot of big schools. And that steal.
Just took that ball away and pushed it right off of Armouche. The Air Force's ball when we return here to Clune Arena. 81-57. The Boise State Broncos up big. 81-75. 3:03 to go in this one. And again, Boise State looking to get their 20th victory and take sole possession of first place in the Mountain West Conference. It's getting to be that time of year. You get into late February, and these teams like to beat up on each other, especially when the top teams travel to your home court. We saw that when Wyoming lost to New Mexico yesterday. And all of a sudden, here we go. Boise State comes in. They lost their last 2 at Clune Arena, but it's been a couple years since they've been here with COVID and such. And now Boise State all of a sudden looking to come up big. AJ Walker with the drive and the finish off the glass. AJ's at 19.
Still competing.
Senior leadership. I mean, you're to leave that with these freshmen that never quit. The freshman that he's playing with, call him the GOAT. He's the one that's been around. He's the one that's teaching them the ways of being an Air Force cadet, being an Air Force Falcon. The schedule that we showed you, what you have to do, the endurance, how you have to get through it all. You got to build toughness. And I think for Joe Scott, when he wants to do it at the program, all he has to do is when he's talking about it and these kids are gaining experience, he's saying, look at that guy, look at that guy, look at what he did. And hopefully AJ Walker can come back in a few years and say, I helped build this.
Huh? Senior from San Antonio. Super tight with his dad, Anthony. And Max wanted to pull that one. He was like, can I take that? Am I allowed to? I'm wide open and I've hit a bunch of them.
AJ Walker and Abe Kinraid will get their assignments at the end of the month. And AJ Walker and Kinraid both set to be acquisition officers. So again, such a commitment when you choose the Air Force, you know, the 4 years of service that you have after your time. And their careers will begin as AJ Walker comes off, gets a handshake from Joe Scott on his way to the bench. A couple more home games left for the senior here.
It's a very cool place. You never got a chance to come to the academy. One, it's beautiful, but just an incredible culture and vibe to the environment. Case in point, all the cadets who show up, the cadet wing, to cheer for their fellow student athletes.
Fresno State and San Jose State will be their final 2 home opponents of the year. 5 games remain, including this one for Joe Scott's team. Milner getting back in on the action, up to 13.
Cason Pryor with the assistant. His dad is an assistant at Grand Canyon.
You know someone else at that school, don't you?
I do. My brother's an assistant over there. Molly Miller. Cason's dad played at Oregon State. Really talented kid, still growing into his body.
Kinraid getting some minutes. And Sam Winter is going to check in for Boise State as well. These will be his first minutes of the game, or we should say seconds, with 43 remaining.
Get him a shot. That's a rule. Everybody's got to get a shot. Get it up.
Just 8 minutes played. He has averaged 1.3 points per game. He needs to get that average up. Get him the ball. Fade away and good for Cason Pryor. He had to get his points too. 85-59. 20 seconds left. And Boise State will dribble the ball up. And this one's as good as 20 wins for the Broncos. There's the buzzer and the final, 85-59. That one felt good for Leon Rice and crew. After their overtime loss to Colorado State and all the injuries that he had with a short bench here on the road at altitude. It's never easy, but they got the job done. They did it behind some great shooting. 69% from the field. That is their best field goal percentage of the season by far. How about that kid? Max Rice getting attaboy from dad today?
I would think so.
14 points for Max Rice. Of course, leading the pack was Marcus Shaver Jr. He had 20 to lead all scorers. Laden Armouche came in with 10, and Milner with 13. So as tradition here at the Air Force Academy, the visitors line up along with the home team, and we will listen to the Air Force alma mater. Here at Clune Arena in the Air Force Academy. So again, the final 85-59, Boise State with the big victory. They handed Air Force with their 6th consecutive loss, and up next for Air Force is going to get tough. They have the 22-ranked Wyoming Cowboys coming to town looking for a vengeance after they lost to New Mexico yesterday. Well, here's the final stats of the game. Again, that field goal percentage looking beautiful for Boise State. The visiting team shooting close to 70% today. They were floating around 73% the majority of the second half. 3-point percentage, 55. They out-rebounded Air Force. The bench came through, points in the paint. They did it all offensively, Doug.
Well, listen, you have Utah State, who's dominated this league the past couple years. San Diego State, who I'm sure they're out for blood. You just held them to 37 points. You still got to go to Vegas, and you got to go to Fort Collins, take on Colorado State. After losing a game, you thought you probably should have had a couple free throws to win, and you come in and you deliver a whooping. This is a get-right game, and Boise can carry this momentum over. Heck of a win for the Broncos.
The Broncos gauntlet coming up. They'll go home to face Utah State and San Diego State next. Fun one here at Air Force for Boise State, back in control of the Mountain West Conference. For our partner Doug Gottlieb and our entire crew at the Academy, thanks for watching tonight on FS1. Boise State beats Air Force 85-59. Good night.